Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Racing Productions MC and producer. And joining me today, the musical stylings of Such. So glad to have Such here with us. Hello, how are you? Welcome, welcome.
Hi, I'm awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, it's such a pleasure to have you here with us. And we want to begin with letting our audience know a little bit about your background and how you got into music.
Oh my gosh, that is quite the story. Okay, so I'm a pastor's daughter, so I actually grew up singing in church. I've been singing probably since I was about 3 years old. Um, and but I never had really thought about like music being a career until I was 15, and at the time I was in band and choir and all that kind of stuff. And my band director told me that I should audition for this group called the Grammy High School Jazz Ensembles, in which, and this was like really a cool experience. You audition, if you get in, you get to perform at jazz clubs all over LA. You get to record a whole album with like I was auditioning for the jazz choir. Record a whole album, perform. You get to perform at the Grammy nominee party, and then you get to actually attend the Grammys. And
Ooh.
so, yeah, it was really cool. So I auditioned and I made it in. And it was literally like a slice of a musician's life. Like I was so nervous because the thing about that was that like everybody, all the other high school students who had made it in, they all knew that they were musicians. They all went to performing arts high schools. Some of them had already recorded and released albums. I was just a girl who could sing, and I went to a normal high school, never had like private lessons or anything like that. So, but it was after that that I was like, oh my gosh, this was sort of like a slice of a musician's life. And I loved it. So when I came back, I made a PowerPoint presentation for my parents about why I should now transfer to a performing arts high school. And, they were like, oh no. And they're like, yo, baby, we know that you love to sing. We support you, but like we don't want you to be a struggling musician. And so they were like, we need you to have a plan A. So I think at that point, I was like, okay, well then music will just be, my creative outlet. I directed choirs and praise teams at church, and went on to get my first degree in exercise science. And then my second degree, I became a nurse. I definitely, took a roundabout way to this, but I think that all of it made so much sense. And then I'm Haitian American. So when the earthquake hit Haiti,
Mm.
that was really the catalyst that got me started on me just realizing that life is short.
Yeah.
I've got to do what I've always known was my thing. And so after that whole experience, I went down there as a nurse. And when I came back, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I have no music connections, but I knew that I had to phase out nursing and figure out how to become, a full-time musician. So,
Wow, wow,
mhm.
wow. And you bring up your Haitian American background. Tell me, does that background have any influence on the type of music you make or how you create music? Talk to me about that.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if anybody could tell by my music that I'm, Haitian, but I
Hmm.
think that of course culture and upbringing will always have an effect on, your creative outlets. So maybe it's even my approach to things, maybe even the way
Hmm.
that I phrase, certain
Hmm.
lyrics. I definitely believe that there's a huge influence there.
And what
Even
are your musical influences? Like what artists have
yeah.
influenced you?
Oh my gosh, so many. So I'm really big into neo soul. So Erica Badu, Jill Scott,
Yes.
Maxwell, all of those folks, Music Soul Child, all that those folks. But then also, Aretha and Stevie, and I love the powerhouses, like Whitney and Mariah, and but then I also love country music because they tell such amazing stories. And so I've always had sort of like an eclectic sort of mix of music, and I really think that all of it sort of influences what I do. um
Ah.
yeah, and I love 90s R&B. That's like,
Oh, I mean,
I know, right? Like, how do you even, yeah, 90s R&B is just incredible. So
I love it. Tell me, what would you say has been one of the crowning achievements of your career thus far? Something that you are the most proud of that you've accomplished so far since really stepping out on this journey of this music career and really doing it.
Yeah, you know what? I think there are so many. Um, I think the biggest shock to me, or something that I couldn't have predicted, would have been a like sort of like a repercussion of just becoming a singer, was that I also became an actress. Like I
Yeah.
didn't ever think that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
Because of my singing, I then got into musical theater where I played Celie in The Color Purple, in a regional production. And just doing that opened up so many doors, as far as, I act in commercials now. And
Mm.
um, but just also the doors that have been opened, as far as like I sing the national anthem at different sporting events. So for I live in Denver, so I've done the Nuggets, I've done the Broncos, I've done like just stuff like that that I would have never imagined, that would happen. And the
Yeah.
opportunity that I've gotten to even collaborate with folks abroad, perform in different countries. You know, I've been able to really travel a lot because of this. And I don't think that I had really thought about like, oh, just me deciding to follow my calling and my passion would then branch out to all these other amazing opportunities. I mean, I've been able to record on a bass player's album in Austria. Like he flew me
Oh,
to Austria. Like, you know what I mean? Like just stuff that I would have never just been like, oh yeah, this is what's gonna happen.
yes.
I've opened up for Shaka Khan. I've been able to
Ooh.
tour. I performed with Robert Glasper. Like that was like mind boggling, right? Like I opened up for PJ Morton. I've been able to do like London and Paris, and just I don't just things that I didn't even realize could have happened. It's been such a wonderful adventure. And
Oh, I love it. I love it. Tell
yeah.
me something. The name Such, it is
Mhm.
so it's so beautiful, it's so unique, and I feel like it's also saying something. Tell
Yes,
me about the the how you came up with the name.
the origin of Such. So Such is actually the first two letters of my first name and the first two letters of my last name. So my first
Ah,
name, my first name is Sulfrance, which listen, nobody really can pronounce, but so yeah, so my first name is Sulfrance, so SU, and then my last name is Charles, so CH. And when I was thinking about, what I wanted to be called, I wanted it to be my name, right? Like I didn't want it to be so far departed that it was something that couldn't that couldn't be me. Um, but I started also thinking about what the word such means. And the word such is used in two ways. One, to amplify something,
yeah.
right? Like such beautiful music or something like that. Like it's an amplification. Or two, be an example of something, such as. And so when I was thinking about with my name being such, what do I want to amplify, and what do I want to be an example of? And so I think about that, and I think that when I think about that, I just want to be real, honest, authentic,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
beautiful, and just keep it all the way real. Yeah. So
Ah, I
that's why
love
I'm such.
that.
So yeah, it's my name, and now everybody calls me such. It's not like it's, just my stage name. Like,
Yeah, now
yeah.
it's
So.
yeah. So tell me, what's next that you're working on? What's the latest project you're working on as we approach 2020? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, as we approach 2021, I mean, this year
2020.
has definitely been challenging in so many ways. I was talking to my family the other day, and I'm like, there have been such I feel like this is one of the years that we're going to look back on and be like, yo, the amount of growth I feel like that we've experienced just as a society, as a world, and then also individually. I think what I'm looking forward to, especially like being a creative, is I can't always create if there's nothing that's poured into me, right? Like if I don't live, what am I going to be writing about? It's sort of that thing, and I feel like this has been very much a living year where I've really had to soak up things. I've had to think about things. I have had to think about how do I want to show up in the world, because I don't think that things will ever go back to the way that it was before. I think we're entering a new space, a new normal. And I've really had to have some thoughts about like, how do I want to show up in the world moving forward? I look forward to continuing to be an artist, feeling deeply and sort of being a mirror for society. I think that's like the artist's job, to challenge folks, to inspire folks, to be relatable, to have, and to be able to take, your emotions and be able to put them in song. So, I'm working on a music video that will be coming out probably in 2021, and definitely some new music. So I look forward to it. And I look forward to seeing like, what is this new world going to be like?
I know, me too, me too, me too.
Yeah,
It's such a mystery right now. But you know what? The art will get us through it, and the
that's true.
art that you produce, and the stories that you tell with that art. And I think a lot will come out of what we've all been through this year. It
For
will
sure.
be a pivotal time, I think, for musicians and artists and storytellers.
Yes.
And so we'll look at the beauty that comes from the bad. Let's look
That's
at it
it.
that way. To round this out, Such, could you just go ahead and share with our viewers your social media, how they can follow you, how they can support you, and all of that? We love a shameless plug here at
Yeah.
Team Christine.
I love it. Absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram at I am such. You can go to my website, iamsuch.com. So IAMSUCH.com. On Facebook, I'm just search for I am such. You will find me. And Twitter at such. And let me tell you, if you reach out to me, I respond. I'm very active on social media. So I'm not one of those who's, not going to let you know what's going on with me. Yeah, I look forward to you joining my journey and me being a part of yours. So much of this is so collaborative. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Such, and thank you for joining us today. It has been such a pleasure and such a great way to start my day. This
Oh,
has
thank
been
you
so
so much for
awesome.
having me.
Yes, of course. Thank you. And to our viewers, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.